Jai Ho Gau Mata. Arre, aage aur. I don't understand how these cows are sitting on the right lane of this big giant road. I mean, how did they even get here? Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fabuloso. So today is the real deal for my bike. I am going, you know what, let's cut the crap. You have already seen the photos, and if you haven't, do follow me on my Instagram and stay updated with everything that's coming up for the bike and my tours and travels. So let's get straight to business. I'll meet you on the highway. It's time to get geared up, and here we are. Now isn't this a beautiful view? Don't worry, I'm riding at higher speeds, I know, because I'm testing the wind visor today, but there are a couple of more updates that I have done to my bike, and I'm going to walk you through all of the upgrades and also tell you a couple of pointers on what are the do's and don'ts on any of the upgrades that you are looking to go for. So let me test this visor a little more for the wind blast, and then I'll stop somewhere, talk you through, guys, everything that has changed with my bike. And before we stop anywhere, this is Hassan Road in Bangalore, and as beautiful as it can be, it is windy as well. So the amount of wind blast that we get on this bike was not a lot with the stock visor, I would say, but it was quite some. I had tested with and without the visor, and with the visor it did make an impact, but the visor was a little small. So in serious windy conditions like we have today, the wind would directly hit your chest. What I want to see today with this visor is if it is able to deflect the wind on top of my helmet. So far it has been okay-ish. I wouldn't say it's the greatest, but yeah, it's been much better than the stock one that we had. Of course, it's a taller one. So let's see how it performs on even higher speeds. I'll not be speeding a lot, but just to test the visor out, I'll be speeding for a while in some open patches. After that, I'll be able to give you guys a fair idea if this taller wind visor works or not. This was the one part that was a major missing on this bike, and I have mentioned it a couple of times in my earlier videos, and if you don't remember, here is one from the mobile mounting video that I made. Taller and minimalistic, that's all I wanted. This pretty much serves the purpose. Let me actually stop talking and enjoy the view, because it is kind of awesome around here. Okay, let's stop here beneath the tree. So this is how my bike looks now. Pretty nice, right? So before we begin, let me tell you all the things that I have installed on the bike. It's first the 20 inches wind visor, second the handlebar raisers, third the crash guard, fourth the pannier racks, fifth the top rack, and sixth the top box. So these are all the parts that I have installed on my bike. Now let me walk you through everything in details and what you should and shouldn't consider while you are purchasing such kind of parts for your bikes. So talking about the wind visor, the original wind visor that we had, it reached up to here, somewhere around here. I don't have the original wind visor to actually show you the comparison, but it reached up to somewhere around here, which would be 9 inches. And this wind visor that I've gotten from Hyper Rider is adjustable at 2 levels. The bottom level is 14 inches and the top level that you see is 20 inches. So currently it's set at 20 inches. Now apart from saving the wind blast, I'm also able to attach my phone pretty comfortably here. There is a whole lot of gap between the phone and the visor, which you can see from here. So it's a pretty good deal. The only thing that I didn't like about the visor, and I think it's a first copy issue, well, this side is lining pretty well with the headlight. This side is not. And I had a talk with Hyperrider, so they promised that they would change it as soon as the new batch is available. Oh, these guys have a flat tire here. Okay, so moving on to handlebar raisers, and this is nothing extraordinary, just handlebar raisers for the bike. Although they serve my purpose, but the only thing that I would like to highlight, which was kind of disheartening when I found out, is that I was told that these are 1 inches handlebar, but if you see from the scale, I'm not sure if it's clearly visible, but it's ending right here, and that is a 1/2 inches, my friend. So that was kind of disheartening for me. But anyways, I had gotten them installed already, and they are serving my purpose, so I didn't want to cringe about it. And I think the height is right for me, so I will not be going to change them, because finding 1/2 inches handlebar raisers would be slightly difficult as well. The third part that I'll be talking about are the crash bars. So these are again from Hyperrider. Now looking at it from the front, you can see how huge they make the bike. This crash guard is attached to the chassis at 3 points, which is here, there, and right there in the below. And we have sliders. We have 2 sliders here. Just one thing pointing out, I don't know what it is. Kind of looks like a thing that would protect the bike on a standstill fall, but you know what, we'll come to everything else later. So these are the crash guards. These are from Hyperrider as well. Moving on, we have the pannier racks. So these are the pannier racks again from Hyperrider. So this was a one-day purchase from me. The handlebar raisers, the windshield, the pannier racks, and the crash guard. They look pretty stable. They look very, very rigid. They can hold a box as well. But the only thing that I don't like about these pannier racks is this bend. So this bend doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, it really looks like this pannier rack was taken off from some other bike and adjusted with measurements for this bike and just fit on, which is not ideal, because I mean, if you look in the bottom, we have another screw here which can be used for holding such kind of panniers. The original bolt that we had with this foot peg was actually locking the foot peg in its place, but they have removed that bolt and put their own, which is kind of an elongated one. So it was really, really disappointing when I found out that this bolt was changed. It was quite later when I got back home. And if we need these panniers, then we can't really do anything about it. This long bolt will have to stay. The original one by the company is a pretty shorter one, and since we have to fit another plate in place, so they have put a longer one. It was kind of a shock when I found out that they had changed the bolt. The original bolt actually looks something like this. You can see it's a tight seal here, and it supports the foot peg from not falling off. But that one thing I will not have on this side of the foot peg. I can't do anything about it until I change these panniers. And moving on, we have the top rack, and these are actually pretty good. So this is the Fantasia top rack, and along with that I have SH29 Shad top box as well. The rides that I'll be going on these days will be mostly short, and this top box will actually be helpful to carry some stuffs around. So that's why I got this small little cute little top box. It holds in place. It makes some amount of noise, but it's not bad. I'll not be giving any feedback for this top box because it's pretty famous. It's all around YouTube. These are all the parts that I have installed on my bike. Not bad, right? So let me hop onto the bike and talk about what I feel about each of these parts. To start with the tall wind visor. Now the real question here is, do we really need a tall wind visor to save ourselves from the wind blast? I think that a shorter wind visor will also fare if it's a little upright. That will be able to cut the wind much better than what it is really now. I mean, there is no doubt that this is better than the stock one, and this is preventing a lot of wind blasts for me on this highly windy road. But the slight demerit that we have with the windshield, which is slanted same as the headlight, is whenever we are saddling, it is very, very close to our helmets. So during an off-road situation where we rather tuck ourselves a little towards the back and hold the tank with our legs, this visor is kind of very, very close to the helmet. So That is one thing that I feel about the wind visor. If you are a highway tourer, or if you are mostly a highway tourer, then this windshield makes sense. But if you are going off-road, then I'd rather prefer having this stock windshield, which will vibrate very less and which definitely will not affect any of the related sections here which are vibrating along with the windshield. Moving on to the handlebar raisers, this is definitely serving my purpose, but a half inch is not 1 inch. What is to say? The next part is the crash guard. So if you look down from here, there are two sliders very evidently popping out of the bike. I'm not sure how safe these can be. I mean, in an unfortunate situation, if my legs get caught in one of those things, then definitely it's not going to survive. That is one of the risks that I find with these crash guards. If you notice these 2 points where the sliders are, these are connected directly to the chassis. So in case of a fall on either side, this crash guard is directly impacting the chassis which it is connected to. So that is the second thing that I'm worried about after installing this crash guard. So the purpose of a crash guard on an adventure tourer is to distribute the impact of a fall and not on the bike or the rider as well. So none of these things are really happening with these crash guards. But then again, we have similar crash guards for Duke 390 as well, and Hyperrider had recently posted a video of a Duke 390 which is on the page. Let's have a look at what happened to the Duke 390 after the impact. I don't think I'll be having this for a long time. For now, at least, when I'm getting comfortable with the bike and I'm always on the roads, these won't impact that bad. So I'm gonna keep them for now, but definitely I'll be changing to something which makes more sense. The next part that I'm going to talk about are the saddle stays. And the biggest thing that I noticed after getting it installed is the bend on the left side of the pannier rack to adjust it to fit to the bike. And the second thing is the change to bolt, which is a longer one rather than the better one that KTM provided. So I don't think there is much to say about the saddle stays. I'm sure they'll hold bags and boxes and everything fine, but as for me, that shouldn't be the ideal scenario for an upgrade to a bike. And if you guys ask me which saddle stay should we be preferring for this bike, I would blindly say to go for the Adventure saddle stay made by Carbon Racing. Now moving on to the last item on the list, which is the top rack by Fantasia, and it's amazing. I mean, this sits right with the bike. It's super strong. You won't really feel that there is a top box on the back of the bike. What else to say, it just sits right in. So I'm really happy with the top rack, but the definite change I'm going to make are these crash guards, because I feel that this is a really risky business that I'm riding with. So that is it for today, guys. I hope you find the information that I shared useful, and if you did, then do hit the like button, do subscribe to my channel because it helps the video and the channel a lot, and stay tuned for a lot on this bike, because I'll be sharing each and everything that I feel about this bike or anything related to it. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you the next time.